Hello everyone! Do you do something productive before listening to this? Today I want to talk about Pomodoro and timers, why one of them work better than the other for me and maybe unlock new doors for you. First off, what is Pomodoro? The Pomodoro technique is a time management method based on 25 minutes stretches of focused work broken by 5 minutes breaks. Longer breaks, typical 15 to 30 minutes, are taken after 4 consecutive work intervals. This method has been highly spoken to people with ADHD, but the thing is, I can't do it. So what am I using instead? Timers. So what is timers? Timers are used to measure specific time intervals. It is more to say about timers, but they use very hard words that I can't even say. What do you use, timers or Pomodoro, to track your work time? Yes, I have ADHD and ASD, so let's get that out of the way. And because people talk so highly about Pomodoro, I tried it for a long time, but it did not work. Why did it not work? Because when I am example drawing or playing games, I get into a flow state. So when that break comes, it destroys everything. And I'm unable to get back into it after. Maybe you have the same problem? So I tested timers instead. Mostly because I read another person doing it and it worked good for them. So why not try it myself? And it works so much better. When the time is up, I just stop, or I can't keep going, depending on what I'm doing. No matter what, I do something else after, starting over after a few minutes. With Pomodoro, you don't need to do just 25 minutes work and 5 minutes break and so on. I changed that to find the right one, like 10 minutes work, 2 minutes short break, 5 minutes long break, or 30-minute work, 5 minutes long break, etc. It did not work. I was more focused on what the time said instead of letting it do its magic. For timers, I have a preset of 20 minutes reading as an example. And I only read those 20 minutes. After time's up, I do something else. And of course, I do micro breaks to look somewhere else during this time to rest my eyes for a little bit. But I decide when I do them, not the clock. I have tested multiple apps with Pomodoro. 2 of them is Tick and To Do Focus, and none of them has presets, or not when I try them out. Maybe that one of the downside for it to not work for me, because I had to manually change those timers depending on what I was gonna do. Like I mentioned before, I can only read for 20 minutes, but I can draw or play video games for 1 hour. In the end, I gave up on it. People with ADHD has a good habit to lose track of time when we do something that is very interesting to us. It's both good and bad. Good that we get the job done, bad because of the time it takes us. And I lose track of time a lot, especially when I draw or play video games. Every time I check the clock, I go, oh my, the time is already that much? And that is not good. If I'm drawing, that is very bad, because after a while I start getting tired. And if I get tired, mistakes happen. And if those happens, I get angry at myself for not being good enough. I think you understand the bad cycle here. From one thing to another. Subscribe to my newsletter, The Hovling, where I share my art journey to become a freelance artist with ADHD, ASD and mental health problems. Also write original stories about my original characters. And don't forget to join the Discord community where you can share your own art. Back to the topic. Even if you use Pomodoro or timers, how can you stay on track on your work without getting distracted? Well, I use headphones, mostly noise-cancelling headphones, and I listen on music. I tried podcasts, but I don't even hear what they're saying if I'm drawing. So music, like chill hop, is my jam, no vocals. I also can have movie or show on. That way I can look at that time and time again for my micro breaks. Even if you choose timers over Pomodoro, you still need those breaks. by just standing up and stretch is a good thing. If you're using a stand-up desk, maybe sit down for a few seconds will be better. Don't overdo it. I have mentioned 2 apps for Pomodoro, and you can find plenty of others out there. But what app am I using for my timers? Well, I'm using something called multi-timers. You can find it both on iOS and Android. And still using the free version of it. You get a lot with just the free one. And I'm liking it. I can create presets for timers, even Pomodoros, intervals, among others. Did try the interval for training, do not recommend it. Because once the phone went black, the timer kinda reset itself. So when I woke it up, it started over, making those intervals even longer. But the timer is my favorite, yet to try the Pomodoro mode. So with these presets I have one for reading, drawing, gaming and reading manga. Just touch it to start and leave it be until times is up. It's so nice to have presets instead of going into the app and manually change it depending on what you're gonna do. You can pause those timers if you need to. So yes, I prefer timers over Pomodoro because of the breaks ruins my flow. Doing micro breaks whenever I want is much better than on a set time. Do I need water? I can just go and grab some. No need to wait for the break. Sure, you can go even if there is no break in your Pomodoro, but it will just become weird when you get back and 1 minute later that break happens. I just have one big problem with all of this, no matter if it's timers or Pomodoro, and that is to remember to turn it on. I have gotten a habit to turn it on when reading, but not when drawing or gaming. Still need to figure that out myself, but if you have any advice on this, comment. Until next time, happy drawing!